Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday edition of Live at the Waterhole. My name's Kelly. I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours. We will be swapping between these fabulous cameras to see what they have to offer today. Beautiful elephants to start here at Tenby. Loving that mud. You are all very welcome, regulars and newcomers. Remember, we are live and interactive, so you must send through your questions, your comments, your thoughts. The interaction is incredibly important to me and everyone else that's listening, so send your questions to wildearth.tv/questions. We'll scan the QR code just to the right of your screens there. I love hearing from everyone. You can also join the conversation on X using #WildEarth or scan the QR code. Lots of elephants here today. Also send through your questions and comments via WhatsApp on +27 786 302 336. We are looking forward to hearing from everyone out there. Penelope Kenyon, good afternoon. I feel like we're old friends these days. We're saying happy Easter Sunday to all at Wild Earth. Me, Mika, Zoomies and Chatters. It's a beautiful day. Happy Easter to anyone that celebrates the Easter tradition, and happy Sunday to anyone that does not. Cerbrum Flomo, you're watching from Gabbana City. Welcome, thank you very much for joining us. I'm just trying to reread Gabaga, apologies. Alex, morning, afternoon, happy Easter to all. Mercedes Bean, greetings, Wild Earth crew and chatters. Happy Easter Sunday to all who celebrate. I echo this. Peter Thompson, good afternoon everyone. Great to be here again. Lovely show yesterday and looking forward to some mental health time. Cheers. Cheers back at you, Peter. I'm very glad we can be of assistance. It is an absolute luxury to be able to view all these cameras without disturbing any of our very willing participants in the show. See, those elephants are very still. And I think, what are you doing there? I think that's the lion bush they're looking into. I'm still not sure what's going on, if we've had any more recent lion sightings towards that bush, but this, if I hadn't seen that elephant lie down, I might be getting slightly worried. But maybe this elephant is also just taking a little bit of mental health time. I feel like I'm being watched. Fine. Yeah, they're all still looking, they're a bit weird about those trees on the right there. I'm not sure if any zoomies can let us know if there have been any more lions seen in that area. We've had a couple of strange incidents with elephants in those bushes to the right there. I haven't seen any lions, but that doesn't mean they're not there. It's a bit warmer here today. It's the warmest it's been for a while. It's up in the low 30s, I think, here today. So maybe other areas and other cameras are also a little bit warmer. Those higher temperatures suggesting that we might see a little bit more activity around the waterholes. Although we had some lovely sightings yesterday. I think my favourite was that zebra on a hillock. That was a fabulous image we got yesterday. Good afternoon, watching from Turisdi in Zimbabwe. Happy Easter Sunday. Thank you very much for joining us from Zimbabwe. Such a pleasure to be able to link so many people up with clearly a common interest. We are all here, so that must suggest a common interest. Fascinating watching these elephants. As we know, it's often it'll be the matriarch of a breeding herd or a family herd that dictates what's going on, where they're drinking, where they're eating, where they're moving, and that imperceptible body language or communications that we are not aware of, or I'm certainly not aware of. And suddenly everyone will go, okay, time to move on. Catherine saying, hi, Kelly and Mika. Mercedes Bean, that must be a huge hole to fit an Ellie in. Yes, I think it was almost a perfect elephant-sized hole, I think. I definitely think I've been seeing a few more family groups here at Tembe. Often we just see big males around this water, but there's been quite a few more family groups here recently. Chris Richards, you only discovered us yesterday. That's so sad. But I'm delighted you are enjoying it. Thank you so much for returning. This is a good thing. Happy Easter to you too, Chris Richards. You're wishing everyone else that is watching the same. Nice show indeed. Boyemwebu, you love animals, especially lions from KZN. Does that mean you're from KZN or you just love lions that are from KZN? I'm not too sure, but either way, thank you for joining us. Deb Davis, happy Easter from Pennsylvania. Back at you, Deb Davis. Thank you for being here.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website. Every month, something wild lands in your inbox. From rare sightings and behind-the-scenes secrets to expert stories, seasonal changes, and exclusive travel opportunities, the Wild Earth Journal is your free monthly mailer, packed with the magic of the wild straight from the field. It's fun, it's free, it's full of surprises. Sign up now on the Wild Earth website.
Look how they've all got their. It looks almost quite organised. This little mud session. Everyone's got their bums in, tusks out. Oh wow, she's just digging it straight under there. Great sound effects on the camera. Terezi, you're asking how many litres of water can an adult elephant drink in a day? Can or does anything between, it depends on how warm it is, between 100 200 litres a day, depending on the temperature, water availability, that sort of thing. A lot. I've stood at little water holes and paths before and watched that water physically get lower. Jackie Turner, happy Easter from Yorkshire, UK. Happy Easter, Jackie Turner. I hope you've got a little bit of sunshine there today. Ivan in North Carolina, you're asking, why do you think that watching wildlife is so peaceful and relaxing? It always makes me feel calm. I'm with you, Ivan. I'm not sure. That's a brilliant question. It's often, well, I was going to say it's often quite quiet, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes nature can be noisy as well. I wonder if it's got something to do with that. Not knowing what's gonna... These elephants are loving this puddle. Not knowing what's gonna happen next, and quiet anticipation. Knowing that in an ideal world we've got absolutely no power over what's going on there. We're just observing. We certainly shouldn't be planning on making any impact on anything. I know I'm certainly not sitting here watching this, but also if I'm watching nature in the flesh, my goal is to always never change any behaviours of any of the animals that I'm watching, be they insects or birds. I have been known to remove an occasional moth from rooms and things, but that's to help them. Ooh, excuse me, I'm just going to quickly close that door. Sorry about that. These temperatures here this time of year, we're out of the super hot period, so we don't need to constantly stay trapped inside with aircon on, and it's nice to let a bit of airflow through buildings, and my door was slamming, if I'm honest. Hendrik Lick, good afternoon. Kelly, Wild Earth Team and Family, good afternoon. Hendrik, welcome to the show. Penelope, Kenyan, I think they might be showing off for any lucky visitors there, or maybe they're just having an absolute blast there cooling off, slightly warmer temperatures today. Loving that cooling mud. Sandy Franklin 69, hello. Good morning and happy Easter to you too, Sandy Franklin. Fang is saying happy Easter also from the UK. Oh, lots of my original home country people joining today. Thank you so much for getting involved. Lou L, do the animals have access to water during the really hot months? It depends on where they are, what reserve they're in, what the conservation policies are. As a rule, yes, because everything needs water, and if things didn't get water then they wouldn't survive. But different reserves, so different reserves that different cameras are in will have different conservation policies. Many reserves, if they are fenced, they need to have some level of pumped or provided water. It won't be sort of like in buckets, but lots of reserves will pump dams or pans in the dry months. If they are reserves with lodges in them, lodges will often have a water hole at the front of the lodge as well, to so things come to drink basically. So Lou L, yes, not as much, because lots of the pans that will be naturally occurring that form in the wet season, in the rainy season, they will dry up. But animals will have some access to some water in some locations. Sebrum Flomo, how the animals survival when the grass in an area is burnt during the time of fire or deforestation? And if they can, they move. If there are naturally occurring fires, hopefully there aren't too many structured fences, and animals will just move. They will move to somewhere where there is resources. Many animals have, we know the Great Migration as it's known. Animals move with the food and the water and the breeding. They are the three building blocks of sort of animal life: food, water, reproductive opportunities. And often, if those resources don't change, animals are pretty happy where they are. But you will often find, same with predators. So if a prey species relocates because there's not enough food or water available, and they relocate to another area where resources are better, then the predators go with them, because that is their food availability. I did have a little bit of homework from yesterday. I had a look into male vervet monkeys. They don't really, I was asked if they provide infant care. Not really. Sometimes they will interact with youngsters, but most of the care comes from mostly the mother, occasionally other relations, but it's mostly maternal care in vervet monkeys. Jackie Turner, do elephants yawn? Wow, you guys come up with some incredible questions. Do elephants yawn? I don't think I've ever seen one. They don't open their mouths that wide, do they? If you think they don't, their skull isn't designed to do a big yawn as we would know it. So maybe if they do small yawns, we don't know about it. Jackie Turner, I have never ever considered that. This is why I enjoy everyone's questions. I have a very inquiring mind, and I've had some very strange conversations about lots of things that many people would not have thought of to ponder, especially if I'm driving in the Kruger.
Zitatamana wena, moya wa mina, ukomba wena, takuranza loko tamana wena.
It's been a great morning out and about and exploring.
That is amazing. It's very hard to explain what this feels like.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions,
Animals rely on their senses.
share your thoughts, and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
Gorgeous black-headed heron here, up on that fallen over tree. I think I've seen on this camera before there is a black-headed and a grey-headed underneath. I can find them a little bit tricky to identify until you see that clear black head that runs from behind the eye there down the back of the neck and across onto the back. The other homework I had from yesterday was why do zebra stripes change direction? I did try and find some papers on this, but I failed for now. We know the standard responses to why zebra have stripes. I came up with best guesses to further break up a body outline. So if there's some going sideways, some going long ways, it looks even less like a zebra, or maybe just the way the skin and the fur developed in a in a fetus zebra, maybe something to do with the cell structure in the skin. That's the best I could do, I'm afraid. I think I've seen this black-headed heron up here before. I think that's a favourite perch and a great viewpoint if there's any little fishes moving around in there. What is that? Oh, we've got some impala there in the background. Lovely. Oh, have we got a little bit of communication going on here between these two impala? Looks like two fairly well-sized males. We do. Let's watch. You can hear a chin spot batis calling there in the background. This would be a prime area for male impalas to claim. They're not quite strictly territorial, but they do like to have a good spot to hang around in, for want of a better phrase. Ah, here's our zebras with their changing orientation stripes that I do not know why. Is this a group of all male impalas here? It looks like it. Lady Macbeth, yes, we are definitely coming into rutting season now for our male impalas. We've started to see a few more interactions and discussions or exchanges between the males. This time of year, if you look nicely at a lot of the male impalas, they're in peak condition. End of the summer, so they've had lots of resources, lots of food, lots of water, good times for all, and they almost look like they've been training for this. It's been a lead up to the rutting season. I believe they also, the dermal layer in their neck thickens, I would assume due to hormones, so sometimes their necks look thicker, fuller. And apparently it's too often when they're fighting, opponents' horns might dig into their necks. That thicker dermal layer might help to prevent injuries. Also strength, often when they're fighting or pushing two equally matched impala. It's often sort of a bit of a pushing and shoving face off. So the more weight, the more strength they've got behind them, the better. I love how animals walk in single file. It's very, very orderly. It's a sort of safety is the wrong word, but I suppose kind of safety technique. Well, not technique. It's not like they've decided to do it. It's just evolved. That is the most effective way. Also, moving on those game paths that so many animals walk on is energy efficient, energy effective. Who wants to bash their way through long stuff if they don't need to? Spas, good afternoon. You missed some very wet, muddy elephants in Tembe. And I was saying, I can't remember the last time I saw a dry elephant at Tenby. And now to these beautiful impala and zebra at Tau. We must watch how this green gradually dies back as we go into the drier season here at Tau. Always a good marker. I can't remember where I was once. I was spending quite a bit of time in a specific area, and I marked. It was very hot. I marked every day with a little stone at the edge of a pan, and day on day the water receded until the puddle was completely dry. So that's facing south, the way we're looking now, away from the lodge. In Midikwe, that's called the ridge, you can see. And then you go up sort of around you can't quite see the road, you go up over the ridge, and then you head down towards the, it's sort of there, that's roughly where the road is. Up, around and down towards the south of the reserve. Is this a group? I think this looks like a bachelor group of males. I remember the way I was originally taught, the way I originally learnt it was during the rutting season. The males will sort of claim a group of females, and then the lesser males, gently, not the lesser males, the males who had not claimed a group of females would loiter around in these groups of boys. The boys would sort of wrangle and tussle over time as they hung out together, and then once the male with the females had exhausted himself, the next in line to the throne would hop in and take over his spot. This is how I've always learnt it and what I believe to be the case, but I've started doing more and more reading around if that is exactly what happens now. I know impala and many animal structures are quite complicated. We have a white-faced whistling duck. Show me your face, duck. White-faced whistling duck? I believe so. Some excellent birding around the Tau waterhole. I think we've had little bitterns there. He's one of our monogamous water birds, although lots of water birds are actually monogamous. They normally nest along the edges of wetlands or waterlands. Huh. Oh look, there's a second one in there. Oh, don't you love it when a plant comes together? See, there's that one on the right, but if you look carefully, there's another one on the left there. When do these ducks breed? Or when do they nest? I can't imagine it would be now, but that was quite entertaining. I said, they nest at the edges of wetlands and stuff, and it sort of snuggled down. Let me see when these white-faced whistling ducks lay eggs in South Africa. Most birds lay in spring, but I never trust my guesswork anymore. Okay, mostly November to April with 75% laying January and February. So I don't think these ducks are nesting. Not unheard of for some birds to have a second clutch throughout the summer.
Join the Wild Earth Explorers program and connect with a community passionate about wildlife. Support our mission to share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Your monthly contribution helps provide schools and children access to kids' safaris, fostering a love for nature in the next generation. Embrace the wonders of the bush and make a difference today. Wild Earth, connecting with nature.
Well, you can tell I've been in the bush a long time. There's a beautiful group of elephants coming in and I'm trying to work out if there's a limping goose. Right. It's gone. Now look how red these elephants are compared to those other elephants we've been watching at Tembe. Very dark. These are covered in this red red iron-rich soil that Madikwe is so well known for. I spent a good few happy years covered in this red dust, especially in the winter. Dark Mane Lover, hello and happy Easter to all. Thank you for your wishes, Dark Mane Lover. Ivan, I've read somewhere that giraffes have no vocal cords. Is this true? Not really. They have a larynx and sort of folds in their larynx that would be classified as vocal cords, but they're quite underdeveloped. They're not designed for making loud noises. I've heard giraffes make sounds, but they're sort of grunts and huffs, and they don't sort of make any big mooing or roaring or trumpeting sounds. But I have heard sounds come from them, so they're just sort of quite underdeveloped. But they do make sounds because I've heard them, and I am definitely not doing any giraffe impressions today. Sandy Franklin 69, how often do elephants come into must? It depends, as per usual. It depends on how old they are, it depends on resources. I think the older the bull, the longer they are in must. Actual frequency, I'm sure I've read somewhere that some big old elephant bulls can be in must for months and months. But I think a lot of it is resource dependent, to be honest. It's not like a monthly, it's not like a cycle like females, from what I understand anyway. I wonder if these elephants are going to do what they often do and move all the way around the edge of the waterhole. I think the period of must is sort of, it's from what I understand and what I've seen, I often see elephants in must in the summer when resources are good. I don't know if that's where they come into must. So whether or not that makes it an annual event, I don't know. Is that bull going to chase those poor geese now? Annabelle, you're saying those elephants look so tall in the short grass. Maybe the grass is long, or maybe they look even taller. Webu, good day, ma'am. Having a nice having you on the show. Thank you very much. It's very nice to be here. It's also nice having you on the show. How many years does an elephant normally live? Textbooks say 50 to 60 years in the wild, and probably not that much different in captivity because their lifespan is often dependent on their teeth. They have roughly 6 sets of molars, well, they have exactly 6 sets of molars that last roughly 10 years each. And once those molars are extinguished, then they can't feed, so they're not able to survive. I did speak briefly the other day about having a rudimentary memory of a captive elephant having its teeth capped and surviving longer. So basically, they would wear out, and if they were cats they didn't wear out, so they were able to feed. And I've got deep in my memory bank something about an elephant surviving a lot longer, but I've been trying for a few days to find hard evidence of that, and I haven't found any, so ignore me. But I'm still trying to establish whether or not I dreamt it or if it actually happened. This happens at Medicare. Elephants just sort of appear. Is that wildebeest leading the elephant group there? This looks like a male. You often find male wildebeest. It took me ages to work out how to sex wildebeest, and I heard it was something to do with the russet on their forehead and things, and then I think I finally learnt males' horns come out past their ears, and females' horns are sort of more level with their ears. You often find male wildebeest on their own, and the way I was always taught was that male will claim a spot, and that's his spot, and then he just sort of crosses his hooves and hopes that some females come and join the party. But you will often find lone wildebeest standing, often in an open clearing. That's their spot. There's a big bull at the back, but look how he's got quite short tusks. Now, a very good friend of mine once put a theory forward. I've never seen scientific proof of it, but I've been watching to try and establish whether or not it's a legitimate claim. Often elephants with battered, banged up, snapped, cracked tusks should be given a little bit more space, because they're using those tusks maybe in interactions with other males, who knows what for. And those bulls with ivory, lovely straight ivory, tend to be more placid. But I've just had a fairly reliable report that we've got some alarm calls across at Tenby, so I think we should make haste and see if we can work out what's happening. I'm going to turn my sound up nice and loud. So let's go across to Tenby. Those elephants have been fiddling around with those trees on the right for a few days now. I'm not sure what was alarm calling. I'm going to guess it was impalas. I can hear a bulbul and a somber green bull. Let's listen. What are you looking? Are you looking at something, Impala, or are you just chilling there? I have reliable information that it was indeed Impala alarm calling, and they were looking, I'm going to guess, into the thickets on the right hand side there. I wonder what's been going on here. She's still looking a bit. I've yet to have a exciting emergence of a lion or leopard on these shows, so that would make me very happy. I love this though. I don't even need to be there. Just the chance that something might walk. Oh look, they are looking. They were hiding behind that elephant. Excuse me, elephant. I'm trying to observe these impala. That's quite frustrating elephant positioning. If you could just move over a little bit, elephant. Okay, thank you. Okay. There is an impala in the thickets. I have known impala to fairly regularly frighten each other. I spent ages once in, I can't remember where I was, but there was impala alarming. And we went backwards and forwards and we waited and we stopped, and that impala was just having a little bathroom break there. And we went backwards and forwards and we drove and we turned the car off and we waited, and they were alarming, and then we looked to the other side and we finally worked out that they were just alarming at another group of impala, which was a bit of a letdown, but deeply exciting. It almost didn't matter. It's a young impala, I think.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
Haina nchumo, haina maka. Emavo kwenye ya milu, haina maka. Lifasira mina ritapela, zatsemba, utatsamana mina.
Was called, believe it or not, was a woodlands kingfisher, and I know this because I spent I'm surprised they haven't gone though. Deb Davis, love all the bird song in the background. It is lovely to hear them. Those woodlands should have, well, if they haven't gone, they should be very close to leaving. But I spent months one summer trying to find out what was making that sound, and I ended up finding it, and it was an alternate call of a woodlands kingfisher. It seems pretty peaceful here now. But yeah, I've seen impala alarm call at corans on the floor. I've seen them alarm at tortoises. I've seen them alarm at each other. they would normally know if something was an elephant. They're pretty distinctive. And sometimes I've seen them alarm and never worked out what the fuss was about. I did learn 5 or 6 months ago. For the first time I heard impalas alarm calling at a snake, and I know 100% they were alarming at the snake because, no, it wasn't impalas at all, it was monkeys. Ignore me completely. Although maybe impalas would alarm call at a snake as well. It's monkeys that have a repertoire of different alarm calls. And I heard for the first time, and it is a very different sound, monkeys alarm calling at a snake compared to a leopard. And my tracker could tell the difference between impala's alarm calling at a leopard or a lion as well. And someone once told me impalas don't normally alarm call at wild dogs. I'm just trying to think back for how many times I've checked this. I think by the time I've worked out or managed to locate wild dogs, I haven't been concentrating on anything else that's been going on around me. This elephant's gone on a mission. Where are you off to? Very purposeful striding in that direction. And my tracker's theory was impalas didn't alarm call for wild dogs because it was a waste of everyone's time. They just needed to get out of Dodge if there was dogs in an area. Ooh, what was that? They're on edge, I think. They're quite on edge. I suppose I would be quite on edge if I was an impala as well. Oh, is that another? Oh, look, is that a bird? Oh, that is if I'm right, that's an African hawk. Oh, I never get this right. A gymnogene. Is it? Wow, that's not an easy ID, but I think I can just see that face there. Yes. So African harrier hawk, I believe. I can just see that quite distinctive patch of colour on the face. Which I don't think you would upset impalas. We're looking forward to you joining in the conversation. Keep those questions and comments coming using X with the hashtag WildEarth. I would love to hear if you agree that you think this is an African harrier hawk. It used to be called a gymnogene. I think these birds are a funny shape. What's he going to do in there? These birds are notorious for hooking chicks and eggs and stuff out of nests. Also, if there's lizards or anything like that in holes in trees, they can get those feet. They've got a specialised joint in their legs, and it basically can bend in either direction, so they get those feet in there and they have a good scoop around in holes in trees. I think I would be very nervous if I was a little lizard or something up there now. You will not be hiding in a hole. These are often seen dangling upside down on branches, and they will often frequent weavers' nests. Often seen dangling upside down, but I think these birds are a very funny shape. They almost look like they've been squashed. PB and Jam, great name. This bird is an African harrier hawk, or the old name is a gymnogene, maybe known as a gymnogene, or Polybroidus typus. Polybroides. That sounds like many somethings. I wonder if that's got something to do with its joints. Who was it? Someone very helpfully gave me the meaning of a scientific name the other day. If anyone could tell me what Polybroides means, that would be great. But I've got a feeling it might have something to do with maybe multi-jointed. After several traumatic incidents over the last few days with confusion with common names and scientific names and subspecies and species, I think we should all agree to start using the scientific names for things, because yesterday I had a bird on the screen that had 4 different names. It was a southern fiscal, common fiscal, fiscal shrike, or butcher's bird. Same bird, just lots of different words. So I think we should just say this is a Polybroides typus. Spas, you agree that it's a gymnogene. Not the easiest ID from this image, but fortunately I can just see that yellow colouring, that bright colouring on the face, which gives it away a little bit. Thankfully, this time. Great camera work, whoever found that, my goodness. But it doesn't seem we have any solution to these alarm calls. But in the meantime, send your questions to wildearth.tv/questions, or you can scan the QR code under the impalas. Scan the QR code with the woolly neck stalk on it. You can also send any of your comments and questions through via WhatsApp on +27 786 302 336. It's an absolute pleasure to have you all here as a part of today's show. I think my favourite question so far today is, do elephants yawn? And I still don't really know. Maybe that should be our mission for the rest of the show, to see if we can. But then what do you define as a yawn? How about if they just sort of stretch their jaw a bit? Ooh. See, that's as wide as those mouths open, so would we even know if they were yawning? All of these questions and so many more. I would love to hear if anyone has had one of those, oh my goodness, it's a lion or a leopard moments, when we last had one, where it was. What was your favourite moment from one of these live shows? Who was doing the show, and did they have any idea that it was going to happen? I find it's often the animals that tell us things. If you watch them and listen, their lives literally depend on knowing there's something there. Kaz, you're asking, do warthogs come to that waterhole? I would assume so, yes. Oh, is that... Oh, that Emojis just... Sorry, African Harrier Hawk has just come down to the water. And it's gone. I wonder if he's not hunting lizards or something down there. They will often walk around looking for prey on the floor, these Emojis. African Harrier Hawks. Oh my goodness. Kaz, I would have thought warthogs do come down here. I've not seen one here, but I'm sure anyone else who is watching, have you seen warthogs here? Those are perfect little mud baths for... or have I seen a warthog here? Kaz? Yes, they do. And Kaz, I'm sure if you stay put on these cameras, you will possibly see one. See, this doesn't get old for me. I know I've mentioned it a few times in the last few days, but I've actually got a little tiny wildlife camera on a little tiny bird bath in my garden, and I've taken great joy from seeing who's been coming to drink. And I've had busy nights actually. I'm kind of embarrassed but almost proud to say that there is a sort of notification, so I've set it to ping if something moves on my camera. But the last couple of nights I've been watching a film, and I've actually had my wildlife camera live view sat next to me. So this is literally what I do in my downtime as well. And in the last 3 or 4 days I've got a regular daker that comes for a drink. I've had a regular porcupine who's now coming for a drink. He's brought his family once or twice, so I've had 3 porcupines out there. I got my first civet the other day, beautiful view of a civet. It came to sniff the camera, that was very, very cool. I've got a regular large spotted genet, often comes for a little sniff around. Who else have I had? I've got a family of dwarf mongoose that sometimes come. I've got a family of banded mongoose that sometimes come. The banded mongoose actually came when I was sitting outside the other day, which was super, super cool. So yeah, this is how I spend my spare time as well. But I'm wondering to see, I've got zebras that have visited several times and had a drink at my bird bath, which is super cool. I'm just waiting to see what else may appear. I've seen multiple sets of aardvark tracks in this estate, so I would actually lose my mind if I got a visit from an aardvark. Silly Jill, do you think there are any new bird species on Earth that we do not know of? Yes. I'm going to say yes because I want it to be so. I'm sure there are multiple. Oh look, that kingfisher just came and caught something. I didn't quite see what kingfisher that was. It was sort of 12 o'clock on the screen, and I think it's gone back into a tree back there. It looked quite big actually. Is there any chance we could zoom into that tree that's just over there in the shade on the other side of the water? Ooh, I've just heard though that we have some baboons at the relatively frequent baboon location, and I love watching baboons, so let's head across there, have a catch up with our baboons. It always there's that kingfisher again. I think that was a pied kingfisher. But I'd love to go and have a look at these baboons. It always makes me... Is he in there? Where did that baboon go? It does make me... Ah, we've got a goose and a baboon. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to check and see. Here's my giant bird book. I wanted to see if this is an emerald spotted wood dove here, because it certainly sounds like one. This.
We have just had our efforts paid off.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a salesman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do? Because we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Wild Earth Travel would like to take you to Namibia and Botswana. Drift over the desert in a hot air balloon, then glide through the lush Okavango Delta in a dugout canoe. This extraordinary journey blends dramatic landscapes with outdoor adventures and unparalleled wildlife encounters. Discover Africa like never before. Book now with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
The cycle I used to work every day for 6 weeks and then be off for 2 weeks, which is a fairly common leave structure in the safari industry. Some lodges will work 3 weeks on, 1 week off. But yes, Sandy Franklin 69 people do live in the Kruger. Along with all the section rangers, so people that are responsible for the security of different areas of the park, all the rangers, anti-poaching bases that are in Kruger National Park. There's a lot of people. I actually wonder how many people do stay full-time in the Kruger Park. Wow, okay. About 4,000 staff, according to this, at any one time. Although when you think of the size of it, that's not really that many, come to think of it. I remember many years ago when the first time I came to South Africa was in 2003, and I had a bit of a misconception about the Kruger Park that don't know what that was. Is that a pied wagtail or a different Kenyan wagtail? I haven't got Kenyan wagtails. I'm pretty sure it's a wagtail. I doubt myself on when I say that's a pied wagtail, but I'm not sure if they're a different type of wagtail up in Kenya. Definitely a wagtail though. But yeah, I used to think that the Kruger Park was much more populated than it actually is. Sometimes if you're in there, especially over Easter or Christmas holidays or school holidays, there can be a few other cars, but I've driven for, especially up in the north, you can often go hours without seeing another vehicle, which works absolutely brilliant for me. Oh, Deb Davis, the best sighting yesterday was a sable at Founders. I'd forgotten about him. That was just at the end of the show, wasn't it? I got very excited about seeing that sable. Don't often see sable. When I was in the Kalahari, that's the longest time or the most time I've ever spent with sable. And I was surprised at how well they could jump, actually. They were jumping in to a fenced area to feed. And they would just sort of walk up to a 1.5 metre fence, just stood next to it and then just hopped over it without any problems at all. Okay, our baboons have relocated, so I think let's head back across to Tau. I was quite enjoying watching those male impalas have a proper set to, for want of a better word. I'm going to check that wagtail as well. Let me see if you get pied wagtails in Kenya. Oh, that's a big elephant making his way away from the water there. Yeah, I'm fairly happy to say that was an African pied wagtail because they are also found in Kenya. Karen, you're asking, do I live in the park or outside the park? Sadly, Karen, I live outside the park. I'm in Hoodspray, which is very close to the Kruger. I've got 2 gates, about 50 minutes in different directions. It's a bit of a safari hub, very close to Sabi Sands, Oliphants West. There's lots of game reserves in this area. So outside the park, but fortunately I'm very lucky to live in a wildlife estate. So there are wildlife estates in this area. There's quite a few. There's a couple of estates that do have Big 5 or Big 4 in them. There's a couple of estates where you can live permanently, full time, with lions wandering past your front door if you so choose to. And I do not choose to. I'm quite happy with observing my civets and jennets and zebras from my front doorstep. But yeah, I'm very lucky that I live in a wildlife estate. And we've got giraffe, and we've got zebra, and we've got impala, and we've got kudu, and we've got bushbuck. Have we got bushbuck? Yes, I have seen a bushbuck. Dacre, and lots of the smaller things that don't threaten you when you take your bins out, which works perfectly for me. But we are very lucky in this area that we are pretty much surrounded by game reserves, which is great. We've got a town that's surrounded by game reserves, as opposed to a game reserve which is surrounded by towns, which is exactly why I and many other people are lucky enough to be based here. I have lived in Big 5 areas for many years though, when I was working in the lodges, when I was guiding full time. I lived in Madikwe for 3.5 years. careful walking distance from this very spot that you can see now on your screens. And I lived for 3.5 years in the Sabi Sounds as well. It was often a little bit of a dicey commute to work here at Tau, as we have seen many times on this camera, and there's lots of elephants around here, and it was probably 300 metres. Our staff area was fenced, and then about a 300 metre open area, and then we went into work into the lodge. Most people did drive just because it's safer. But we had wild dogs got through the fence once and chased an impala into the general manager's front door, and proceeded to dissect it on the lawn by the staff pool. We did see lions on the perimeter fence. I'm sure if you watch here, especially at night, you regularly see awesome things at this waterhole and this waterhole. If lions were roaring at this waterhole, I would easily hear it. I've actually heard it from my bed, if there's lions at this waterhole. So it's very, very cool. I've been very privileged to spend a lot of time living in Big Five areas.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Join the Wild Earth YouTube Superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube Superfan community today.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
And he was very, very relaxed with vehicles, but he didn't really like people on foot, and he was known to make his feelings known about this. and there was a story once that there were some people working on the fence, which is just behind the camera there, and he came into the water just to make his feelings known that he objected to these people on foot on his turf. But yeah, he was an amazing lion. I learned a lot about lion behaviour from him. I just want to see. Oh no, that's another. Is that another heron there? And it's back to us, or is that part of a log? Is that a heron in the middle there? Let's go across to Lantoro. Someone was asking about warthogs. So while there's no warthogs in Tenby, I think let's go across and have a look and see if we have some warthog visitors across there at Lantoro. Oh no, Nkoro, apologies. I misheard in my ear. I haven't actually spent much time at this camera. There's a lovely little family of warthogs there. It looks like they're a bit shiny. They've maybe been in having a dabble in that lovely cool looking water. So I would guess this is probably a little family, maybe not from the one on furthest right, looks quite small. But I've seen smaller warthogs than this quite recently, so maybe not this year's youngsters. Normally have somewhere between 2 and 4 hoglets or piglets. I think I'll call them hoglets. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I think that's a great word. No, come back. I've really enjoyed watching male warthogs courting before, courting the ladies. It was actually on an airstrip in Madikwe. I watched them, and they looked like they were basically just chasing the girls around with their little tails stuck up in the air, making a very cute sort of somewhere between a cute and frustrated, snorty, snuffly sound, trying their utmost best to acquire the attentions of the ladies. Yes, let's do that, FC. I would love to go and look at a monitor lizard. Now our little warthogs have departed from here. I wonder if it's... Now that to me, that looks like a rock monitor to me. Which isn't impossible. Despite the fact that it's at the water. Oh, look at this. This goose is very cross. But not as cross as I might have thought. See, watch that tail, watch that tail. These monitors will give a good hard... Oh, is he also rolling in the mud? Where's my reptile book? That's a cool image. See, quite a short, stumpy nose. That's a brilliant screen grab there. So as we know, these monitors all cold-blooded. Oh, it's quite upset now. So regulating that body temperature there. What's he doing? See if flick that tail. Is this? I don't know what's going on here. I think maybe this is trying to get parasites off him or something. Huh. Sorry about that. Sorry for upsetting you, geesey geese. Karen, it does look like he's scratching himself. Like parasite control to me, or cooling or something. Robert Cole, I don't think the birds want him there either. Lovely sighting this is. I think this is a rock monitor. Yeah, he's in the water. That wagtail's also mildly put out by his presence. I've never seen a monitor lizard doing that before. Spicy, you're asking what is the lizard doing and why the Egyptian geese are alarming. The Egyptian geese don't want him there. Would definitely predate on their eggs if they had any. Basically, this is a predator as far as they're concerned. And I'm not sure what it was doing. To me, it looked like that's a lovely image, lovely clear image. To me, it looked like some sort of parasite control. Many animals carry parasites or ticks or other smaller unwelcome passengers, and to me it looked like he was rubbing on his eyes and his face, maybe as a sort of parasite removal technique. or it could possibly be, if he's hot, eyes around the skin around the eyes or around the.
Experience the magic of the wild on an unforgettable 4-night safari at Mabula Nature Reserve, hosted by the one and only Stephen Falconbridge. With Steve as your private guide, you'll gain incredible insights into Africa's wildlife, leaving with knowledge and memories to last a lifetime. Get hands-on with conservation, track elusive cheetahs, and even take to the skies on a hot air balloon ride. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive. At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. I grew up mostly in the Lowveld. I grew up here pretty much on the southern side of Kruger National Park, a place called Marlow Park, for most of my years. Something surprising about myself, I did play drums in a band for many years. Best sighting I presented, we found Columba and the 2 cubs, and the cubs are just way big.
We are here with a male leopard.
Brilliant sighting. See, things like this is why I enjoy these cameras so much. Often a monitor wouldn't let you get this close while it was just chilling and minding his business there and scratching. They'd normally get nervous and leave. So it's such an amazing opportunity to observe things like this and observe these behaviours without disturbance. Brilliant swimmers, these monitors. He's been having a blast in this pan. Oh, look, there's a terrapin as well. Is there a terrapin there on the side of the water? I think our monitor lizard has departed the scene, but there is a terrapin there. And I would like to tell you that I have relearnt the new name for chelonians, which is the group of terrapins, tortoises and turtles. And they are Tustudines. I have learnt that before, or relearnt it before, but since forgotten it. So that's the name of the group that turtles, terrapins and tortoises belong to. Jeff is saying, could the monitor lizard be rubbing mud on its underbelly to serve as winter insulation or for parasites? I'm more inclined to possibly say parasites, the way he was rubbing his face there, but maybe that mud on the underbelly would be acting as a cooling agent, if it is quite warm there today, because this is the only way these cold-blooded goodies can regulate their body temperatures is by either basking in the sun or cooling themselves down with mud or... Look him flicking his toe there. And you will often see they will bask and then scoot back into the water when they get a bit warm. I think this is probably a marsh terrapin. They're the most common terrapins found in... Oh no, they're in Kenya. I keep forgetting they're in Kenya. I'm not sure what terrapin that was then, I'm afraid. Possibly a marsh, but I'm not going to guarantee it. So there's almost 300 species in the Tustudines order, which is a lot. 14 families and 100 genera, many of which I do not know. It's amazing to think about how all these orders and families and genre have split over different geographical ranges. Okay, our geese have calmed down now. That was clearly a bit distressing for them, having that monitor so close by. And those monitors will give you a good firm tail flick, one of their preferred methods of defence. But it's all peaceful again on this Sunday afternoon. You'll often find ducks and geese, they will tuck their heads in like this, and I believe it's to help with temperature regulation. And maybe it's just comfortable as well. Peace is resumed in Lontore in Kenya. I definitely think I want to set myself a goal, even if there's nowhere to stay in the Kruger for the night. Even if I just get up at ridiculous o'clock in the morning and head in. After spending the time I have with these cameras and seeing the things we do in this very short space of time, I think I want to set myself a goal and find a nice, quiet, secluded waterhole somewhere and really spend a bit of time there. Take some snacks. Looks like some old weaver nests there, maybe from this season. The busyness and the breeding of all the birds is coming to an end. Moving into our autumn. This greenery, I'm sure, will start to carry on with dying back. This green will turn to browns. Is that a bird up there on that stick, or is it just a bit of stick? Maybe it's just a bit of branch. I wonder how long that's been hanging there. It's a bit precarious. Looks like that dead branch is broken off there on the right and is dangling by a thread. Wow, what are the chances of that? You can see a fly on a terrapin on the other side of the world. You can see that terrapin breathing. See, there is no way you ever get to observe terrapins like this in the flesh, because they get nervous, they scoot back into the water ever so quickly.
My heart is pounding at the moment.
We are here in one of the best places in the world to see tigers.
South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our Fed Air Lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild.
Although, looking at this, I've got my book here. Is this one of the 5 hinged terrapin species? So the hinged terrapin species are the Mashona, Okavango, pan-hinged, serrated hinged and yellow-bellied hinged. This shell looks quite flat, which would point more towards the marsh. Very varied diet, the marsh terrapin. Insects, crabs, frogs. Sometimes they'll even ambush birds or ducklings. Look at him putting his legs out. I'm sure that's to get a bit more heat on them, if I'm honest. Or maybe he's just having a stretch. This is a truly chilled terrapin. I've never seen a terrapin lay flat like that. One sunbathing terrapin. I think let's head across to Onguma. We might have a nice giraffe over there. This is I've never seen a terrapin sunbathe like this. As he puts his head back down again. So cool being able to watch these animals uninterrupted. I don't think I've been to this camera before. That's super exciting. I've never been to Etosha. I did do a write-up in one of my guiding exam workbooks. I did plan a trip around Etosha, so I know a little bit about it, but I've never been there. I would love to go and see these huge chalky white elephant ghosts that roam around up there, I believe. Looks like we've got a contemplative male giraffe up in Etosha, in Namibia. I'm not sure if he's just been for a drink. I'm saying male because of those very thick, straight ossicones that we just saw. There we go, nice silhouette there. What is that? Is that a wildebeest? I just saw a tail flick. Just at the left of the screen now. I think that might have been a wildebeest. I'm sure that giraffe's just come for a drink, maybe. And there's still some. Are they little white flowers there? They almost look like a string of stars flowers. I think we're going to lose our giraffe. Sure, I just saw a wildebeest on the way as we were scanning across there. Yeah, wildebeest? Yes, I'm fairly sure that's a wildebeest there in the distance. Okay, I don't think we've been to Stony Point in the last couple of shows, so I would love to head across there. I want to check up on our penguin nest. We haven't got too long left. Oh, it looks rough here today. Wow. Is that raining there even? Huh. So just a couple of minutes left of the show. But I have been desperately trying to find out new exciting information about dussies and penguins and kelp. And something I did learn about dussies that I did not know is the males have a very wide vocal repertoire. I'm not sure if we've got any sun, but that looks like it's raining. I'm not sure if we've got any sunbathing disgruntled dussies today. We do have a fairly perturbed looking penguin. But I did discover that male dussies have a voice and they sing beautifully, and their voice is dependent on an individual. And I found a singing dussie for you that I would like to play. That is a singing dussie. And I've never heard that before. So I will continue trying to find more information about dussies and penguins and kelp. But I'm glad we could come across here just for the last little bit of today's show. Thank you all for joining us today on this delightful Sunday afternoon. It's a pleasure to have everyone here. I've loved all your questions as per usual. I hope you continue to enjoy your day. There's some dussies. Hi dussies. I'm going to carry on doing some avid reading around these little guys. So enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your weekend. And I hope to join everyone again soon. Keep watching those cameras.